Hey guys, my name's Sam Saggers, Director of Positive Real Estate. So I'm going to talk you through one great strategy that we use quite often at Positive Real Estate, which is finding a property or a piece of land and trying to custom build another dwelling or a dwelling, a house particularly, on that property. Sort of quasi-development, but without the huge amounts of risk when it comes to full-on development. In fact, in real estate, what we look for is a piece of land, usually, let's just say, anywhere from 300 to 600 square meters. And on that land, if we can find it in the right area, it will be compliant to building a house. Now, the trick to getting the land is working out what the land costs and how many dollars we can get out of the land by actually getting a bit of a discount on it, or in fast moving markets where we can control the land, where we can get a hold of it. We recently just helped some clients get a hold of some land by having to literally camp out overnight to put an expression of interest down on the lot. Such was the huge amounts of demand and the limited supply. So we want to get a discount. Now let's just say, for simple maths, we got a discount of 20K on this particular land. That'd be a pretty good situation. We're already buying under what the market is prepared to pay. Whether we can get a discount, it really depends on if the market's running like a bull or a little bit slow. Now, we need to build something on this land. We need a return. And of course, the house provides the return. So we need to choose a property which is going to suit a rental person, but also one day we might want to sell this property. So we need to build it in such a way that actually an owner-occupier also would walk into that home and feel pretty good about it. So we need to choose the right home, okay? And part of the process of what we do is custom design a home with certain builders that conform to that particular block of land. It's a great strategy. But let's take it a step further. Of course, like any industry, building is no different. There are choices of builders. We can choose a less experienced, less proven performer. We can choose a top performer. And in the middle, someone whose business is growing. But also, each of the different builders are able to deliver the home at different prices. Now, this is part of the trick, right? Let's assume in that local area, houses are being built at $1,800 per square meter, okay? If we're looking to make $20,000 by actually getting a discount off the build, we need to go to these builders and actually get them to tender for the work. Quite often, the less experienced builder will come in too low, but what we'll also look at is, well, maybe they're not such a proven team to deliver the outcome. So we might get rid of them. We'll also look at the $1,800 a square meter guy and work out, well, hang on a minute, he's the top performer, but actually he's building a highly spec'd home, which might be too expensive and overcapitalizing for an investor. They also may have extra costs, lots of staff, lots of extra expenses. So the trick to us is to align ourselves with a top builder. We'll put a hat on him. It's not really a hat, but anyway, it's a beret. We'll put a beret on him and actually help him and work with him to actually deliver a cheaper home. The same quality as the top builder, but at a less expensive price. And for those builders, we'll try and negotiate, say, $1,500 per square meter. Automatically, when you do the maths on, let's say, a 200 square meter home, we are creating money. All right, so that extra $300 a square meter we're not paying is actually, let's just use some simple maths, 300, 200, let's say that's another $20,000. So right there, we're actually putting together a package which is $40,000 less expensive than what a premium owner-occupier building in the area is for. There's some other tricks to using this strategy to your benefit, but it's a phenomenal strategy once you get used to it. I'm going to run you through a 10-point checklist that we use at Positive Real Estate. First point, of course, is there any benefits from a tax point of view? And of course, a new house package or something that you're constructing is full of tax benefits. So we get a point for that. The next point we look for, point 2, is actually benchmarks in the area. What we're actually looking to find is if someone has spent a lot of money building a new property in the area. You might have heard of, say, a McMansion. What we're actually looking for is someone who's really overcapitalized and is pushing the envelope of prices in the area. They're creating the benchmarks and we're simply following. It's a phenomenal strategy and something that we look for as a checklist. We also look for checklist 3, which is proven estates. We don't want to be working with Bob the Cabbage Patch farmer who's decided to turn his farm into a land subdivision. Doesn't make a lot of sense at all. What we're actually looking for is proven developers, quite often publicly listed companies. Names like Mirvac, Lendlease, FKP, I'm sure you've all heard of them. They're the type of developers we want to work with to create a profitable solution. Obviously, resale is a huge point for us. You cannot build a property which is a cookie cutter home, something that only a tenant would live in. We need to look at the aspects of the home from an architecture point of view as well as resale. It's really important we get it right. When we look at the design features of a home, we're always considering furniture plan, we're always considering what it would look like for an emotional buyer. At the end of the day, you want to make money out of real estate by connecting with the emotional side of real estate. People love properties which they can make them feel good. Though it's not an investment principle, when we're buying, when we're selling, it's really important. So it's important that we build a property that's going to appeal to the masses and appeal to the owner-occupier market. Supply and demand is the next one. It's huge. We like to buy in areas which are undersupplied of properties. In fact, I talked about the example of team members at Positive Real Estate camping out on behalf of mentoring clients, securing them lots of land. In fact, we had to go out and begin that camping experience 2 days before the ballot to get the land. As you can appreciate, anyone who's willing to camp out to get land really shows the effect of a huge amount of demand and not enough supply in housing. They're the areas we want to actually be buying in. So supply and demand is a huge one. Infrastructures are key to success in all investment. And I can tell you we look for 5 pillars of new infrastructure in an area, as well as the economy. Infrastructure is huge to us. If we can find train lines, roadways, new schools, if we can look for education areas or precincts where universities are going or hospital and medical. So infrastructure is really important because that creates a sounding board for the community to commence and also a reason why people want to live and work in an area. And of course, the more jobs in an area, the higher the wages tend to become. Rental returns are also important. We need to design properties which are going to appeal to the rental market. Now let's imagine you had house A, which wasn't such a pleasant house, and house B, which was built for an owner-occupier, and a tenant came along. They would naturally be first drawn for a little bit more to the better home. And let's say we got an extra $20 a week, providing them a comfortable environment to live. I think most people in this day and age would actually spend their money on a nice experience over a cost benefit. I can tell you we love to work with proven builders. It's a huge checklist for us. We love builders who've delivered homes in the past on a level which is shows their experience. We look for at least a good 10 years, a good decade worth of experience in a builder. It's important they've not just built homes, but they've been involved in other types of building development, from commercial to actually high-end housing. We find the best builders that we work with actually understand what it means to build a quality and sound investment. Checklist number 9 is actually what we look for is a high owner-occupier ratio within the areas we work in. There's no use finding a great house and land package if the area you're buying in is 100% investor orientated. Actually, it's quite scary because investors tend to be a little less stagnant than an owner-occupier. You don't hear of too many owner-occupiers selling their properties in a downturn. What they do is stick around because they're actually living in the community, their kids are at the local school, they've got a connection to the area. So we need to look for a high owner-occupier ratio. Anywhere over 70% is considered pretty good, but we like to push the envelope. Most of the areas we look at have over 90% owner-occupiers in the area, and they create a stable backbone to a great investment property. And the final one, of course, is having a valuation. We love to get our properties valued in the beginning by a registered valuer to make sure that when we put them together, the property is going to stack up for you, and you can just do the simple work of looking at the property and determining whether it's the right strategy for you. Thanks for your time.